guys, it's March 23rd, 2022. I'm Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop, and I'm so sorry it took so long to connect. YouTube is having some issues this morning, but we got it to connect, so I'm just going to chat a little bit and talk a little bit about what we're going to talk about today so that hopefully people can catch up and join. But thank you for everyone being patient. Sometimes there are tech issues that we cannot control. But today I'm super excited because we're going to show a new designer, Pansy Patch Quilt and Stitchery, and we're going to show some of her stuff, and it's so beautiful. I think you're going to love it. We also have some new patterns, lots of stitched finishes, lots of frame finishes, lots and lots and lots and lots of new stuff. So for now, why don't you guys all talk about like what you're stitching on so that we can like give time for everybody to kind of rejoin, since we had to, basically what was happening this morning is we would create a stream and then eventually YouTube would just cancel it. So we just kept retrying. I did see that there were some news stations that were live, so I knew that, you know, some things were live. It said about 55% was working, so I think we're good to go now. So I want to show you a new designer for us, and her name is Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery, and it's Laura Pengelly, and she was so nice to send us her models of her recently completed series, The Houses on Peppermint Lane, and I loved this when I saw it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it and all the different pieces of it, and I'm going to kind of talk about the big pieces, then we'll move to the small pieces, and then we'll talk about an idea that I have and see if you guys are interested in joining it or if we should do it. So this right here is the Houses on Peppermint Lane, all 9 together, all 9 together. So you buy each pattern separately, or you can buy a set of patterns. And this is if you stitch it as a whole. If you want to add, okay, I'm going to show you the part that's a border. So this side, these big long pieces right here are part of the border, not part of the pattern. That is free on her website that we have linked, and it's also linked from our website. Now these little lines are also part of the border. So if you stitch this as one piece, the stitch count is 347 this way by 277. The model was stitched on 36 count prairie grass, which is the color, by Seraphim. She used 1 strand of floss over 2 squares. Lori and her daughter Emily framed this, and so it's very lightweight and there is no glass. If you stitch this on 36 count, which is what she did, it's going to come out to 15.5 this way by 19.25 this way. If you want to stitch it on something bigger, like 14 count, it's going to be like 20 by 30. So that's going to be pretty big. So I'm not sure if you're going to stitch it on 14 count, just make sure you get a huge piece of fabric. So again, one piece, all 9 in here, and then these sections are borders. So that is if you want to do it as one piece. And again, we have the pattern sets and the individual patterns. On the pattern set, if you click into it and scroll down, you will see all the thread that is required to make it. It's a combination of different manufacturers, and the fabric on this we don't have. We are trying to source it. So again, this is 36 count prairie grass by Seraphim. Now I'm going to show you the pillows, and at first I'm going to show you the difference in the two fabrics. I do want to show you, this is how the border looks when you print it out on her site. So again, the side here, and then this top part is part of the pattern. So pillow 1 is Peppermint House. So we're going to zoom in, and I'm going to see if you can tell the difference in the fabrics. So this, like I said, is Seraphim fabric. These pillows, there's 9 pillows. They're all stitched on 36 count Oaken by Picture This Plus, and 1 strand over 2 squares. And they finished each pillow with pom-pom trim, stuffed the inside with fiber fill, and the back, they put a patch on the back with the initials of the company. And that's how they put them right sides together, sewed it, flipped it, and then this covers the stitching, the cut hole that they used. Each of the individual pillows, the stitch count is 87 by 97. So on 18 count, which is 18 or 36 count, which is what this is, it's 5 by 5.5. And the Oaken is a little bit darker. So that, and I am going to give you some fabric suggestions at the end, but first I'm going to go through each thing. So these are the pillows. I'm going to set the big piece aside now, and I'm going to show each pillow close up. Then I'm going to show them together as one. So this is part 1, Peppermint House. Part 2 is Gingerbread House. And I'm going to let these sit a little bit just so you can see the detail. I really love all the door details she has. If you look at each one, you're going to see some detail in the doors. So that's Gingerbread House. This is Sugar Cookie House. So this is the bottom part. They're each a little bit different, and you'll notice when you, if you look at each of them, the bottom is a little bit different. But they all have something fun in the door. There's like a quilt block or peppermint. This is Tea House. Maybe I need this because I drink a lot of tea. And you can see the detail in the door here. That's number 4. Number 5 is Cranberry House, and they all have, when I show them together, I want you to see the difference in the pom-poms on all of them and the difference in the bottom stripe. So this is number 5. These are so pretty. Number 6 is Pinwheel House. And I love the roof on this one. It's like a pinwheel roof, and then like little bricks. And there's a little quilt block. So you can see little quilt blocks in each of the doors, which is kind of what made me love this series. Number 7 is Pomegranate House. And they do also, each one has a house, a floral, a bottom, a name, and a top. Oops. So that's number 7. Number 8 is Needleworker House. And this one's really cute. It kind of, you know, if you've ever been to like an old-timey cross-stitch store, sometimes they're in older houses, and it kind of reminds me of that. Going to a fun cross-stitch store. And I think also what brought me to it is there's just a lot of little accents about quilting. And then the last pillow is Christmas House. And of course it has a snowman. So I love these. So we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to zoom out, and I'm going to put all 9 together in the order, just so you can see them. And then you can see the difference. Then you can kind of see the difference in the pom-poms. So even that there's white pom-poms, a different white pom-pom, you know, different, these 2 are the same, these 2 are the same, these 2 are the same, these 2 are the same. Just kind of a mix of pom-poms. So kind of what I was thinking with this, well, first I'm going to show you some different fabric options for everyone who wants to stitch on 14 or 16 count, and then I'll talk about what my plans are and see what you guys think. So our recommendation, if you're going to stitch this on one piece as one big piece, the 25 count Prim by Lori Holt is the only piece that is big enough because it's a ginormous piece. So the only piece we have that's big enough that we recommend is this one. And I think it would look great on this. Now 25 count is going to come out bigger than 14 count, so it would come out even bigger than 20 by 30. But I do think the color is nice. So Prim is, I'm going to move a couple of these just so you can kind of see. So Prim is one option. Let me make it pretty. Another option is Monaco Natural. Okay, the other one is tea-dyed 28 count Monaco. And this is the fabric, that Priscilla and Chelsea stitch on. And this would be big enough to do the individual pillows, but not to do the whole piece. And Monaco is owned, it's a brand of DMC, and so this is the biggest cut that they sell to us. But that color would be really nice if you were gonna do this individually. So this is 28 count, tea-dyed Monaco. Now, tea-dyed is the color, it's not really tea-dyed. So I'll put that one there, and they look pretty similar. If you're looking for Ada, we had a little bit harder. Now we feel like these are really close and really good. The two Adas are not exact. So the first one we're showing is Natural 14 count Ada by Witchell. And we'll zoom in a little bit. It has kind of the, like, it's natural, so it's got little natural fibers in there. And next to the pillows, it is much lighter, but it would definitely work. The only thing I'd be concerned about is like right here, these whites. You might have to change your whites, and just consider that anytime you change your fabric, you might have to change some thread in your kit. So put the natural here. For hand dyed, now this is also big enough for the pillows. You need several pieces, but it will not be big enough to do one big piece. This is Affogato by Fiber on a Whim. And we have this in stock, and this is 14 count. And again, this one I think is great. It is a little bit lighter, so you might have to get a white that's gonna pop more. So AFFOGATO. That's an option. And then our last option is Historic Beige by Fabric Flare. It is lighter. Where's Duxbury? Oh, okay. So Fabric Flare, Historic Beige. And this one, I think would look good. I wish it was a little bit darker. Like I said, we were having a hard time finding something 14 count, and we did go through hundreds of fabrics to look. Now this is the one that I think would look excellent. This is Oatmeal 25 count by Lori Holt, vintage cloth, and I think this would look excellent. Now the oatmeal only comes in a smaller size. So because of that, you would have to do this one on pillows. But her prim, which is more gray, you could do as one big piece. So really, if you're doing one big piece, this is our only option. But this would look amazing. And then Fox and Rabbit Duxbury is, it has a lot of really strong dyed pieces, but I think that would look pretty if you like, you know, that kind of thing. And it's a big piece, so it would fit. This is 36 count Duxbury. Okay, so we're gonna zoom out and I'm gonna talk more about the fabric and kind of what I was thinking. So I was thinking that I might do this as like a little stitch along, but obviously we probably would start it in either 2023 or the last quarter of 2022 because my schedule, we schedule everything so far in advance and I've already got my list all the way through probably October. But I was thinking we could, if you guys are interested, we could do something like a little sew along. And I'm thinking I definitely will do these. I've definitely decided I will do these as individual pieces, not as one big piece, because that I think would just be too big. But, and I'm thinking what I will do is probably stitch with this oatmeal. And the oatmeal, just so you know, there's one side that's mottled and one side that's not, so you can see the difference. That would also look good. So kind of my gut is telling me that if you guys are interested and want to stitch along, I would stitch it on oatmeal. And I would do 9 individual pillows. So at that point, I would have to figure out how many packages I would need. And then I am going to change all the colors. So I would do it as a thread pack at that point, but I would change everything. I love it. I think it's beautiful, but I would make this more aqua. I would make this more pink. I would make my color stronger, and I would probably turn these into more of a red. But that's what I'm thinking. So do you guys want to join me? And I do see some questions on 16 count, and most of the items I showed you in 14 count also come in 16 count or 18 count. So I'm just kind of showing you different colors. So I do think this Monaco looks great. I think the prim looks great, and I think the oatmeal looks great. Those are my favorites out of everything. So I'm gonna move these. It was really hard. We couldn't find an exact 14 count. So these are my favorites. I've never stitched on Monaco though, so I don't know how I would do with it. So this is kind of where I'm at. I mean, I could change my mind on the fabric though, so don't hold me to it. And Sharon is asking if you can stitch one thread over one square on 25 count. And you can, but that'd be tiny, but yes. And the pom-pom trims, we are going to email her and ask her because we're not sure where she got all of these. And if it's something we can carry, we will, but I think she probably got these at Joann's. And then if you stitch 18 count, you do stitch 1 over 1. I have stitched a couple times, as you'll see at the end of this video, a 2 over 1 on accident. And the pillows, the way we're offering these is pattern sets. We've got fabric suggestions, and then the thread is listed in the individual big pattern if you want to use her colors. So thank you so much to Lori for letting us borrow all of her samples. We will pack them up and make sure they are returned in a pristine condition. So I think that's super awesome to show. So like this one has a churn dash. This is like it's called Spare Squares in Lori's new book. Little wreaths, all the little doors have little accents. So this is something I would love to know if you guys are interested. So kind of based on how many comments I get at the end of the video, we'll determine if we do a sew along, because if I have a lot of people interested, we'll do it. And if we don't, then I might not. So I hope you like that we pulled all of those fabrics for you. If we offer a thread pack, it will be in my colorways, and it would be later in the year. But since we listed it on the website, it's easy for you to buy them individually. So now I'm going to move into 2 new pattern releases by It's So Emma. And these, I'm so sad that I didn't get to show you last week, because I usually get to show them to you individually. So the first one is Bloom Where You're Planted, and this comes as a paper pattern, and we have charted it both. I'm going to kind of sneak peek and show you because it is my pattern. This is the individual, so you can see it's nice and big and you can see it. You get them charted 3 individual. We also have it charted with a border. So you don't have to do any thinking in this because it's all, you just pick which chart you want to use. So the first I want to show you the big one. So you see all of them just like this. Now on the, thank you to Priscilla Blaine for finishing all of these. And all of these, she used her and Chelsea's fabrics, different SKUs. And we have listed on the back all of the Priscilla and Chelsea fabrics you would need, what SKU she used, and you can order those at Fat Quarter Shop. So this one right here is all 3 together. So these different patterns are called Grow the Flowers, Find the Sweet, and Water the Seeds. Now I'm going to be stitching this as one big piece, and I'm going to show you the dates that we have planned. It is going to be a stitch along, and so you can follow along with us with the Bloom Where You're Planted stitch along. April 6th is going to be this right here, which, oh, sorry. April 6th is going to be this border right here. And so we're going to start with that, and then it'll be 1 week for the boot, 1 week for the bee, and 1 week for the flowers. Now I'm going to stitch this as one piece. This model right here was stitched by Cheryl using Classic Colorworks and the marbled white pine board Ada. Now, if you want to stitch this as one piece, we sell the white marbled pine board 14 count by Fabric Flair in 2 sizes. But for this pattern, you need to buy the bigger size, which is 24 by 27. We had Fabric Flair put it together specifically for us. And the back is plain. And we stitched ours with the other way, with the pine boards going vertical. I always get horizontal and vertical mixed up, so that's just me being a dingbat. But this piece, the 24 by 27 marbled white pine board, is big enough to make either one or individual. And that's how I'm going to be stitching mine. I'm going to stitch mine on this. So this is the full piece, and Priscilla finished all of these. We offer this as a DMC thread pack or a Classic Colorworks thread pack. Now I'm going to be stitching mine on the fabric I just showed you, and I'm going to use the Classic Colorworks. And Cheryl stitched this 1X at a time so that it gives you a lot of variegation in your pieces. So I probably won't do that. I'll probably do my traditional rows, and mine probably won't have as much variegation. So we offer the fabric, the 2 thread packs, and this thread pack will have enough to make either the full or the individuals. So this is the full piece, so thank you, Priscilla. And what they mounted them on, all of that is on the back of the pattern. SKU numbers, where to get it, everything. We're trying to make it easy. So this is also the same fabric in the smaller version. So the one I just showed you has the bigger plaid, and this is the brand new Priscilla and Chelsea plaid. It's arriving early next week. So this is one of the patterns individually, and Cheryl did stitch all of these, thankfully. So I do hope you join this sew along because this one's coming right up. And I love when Priscilla finishes on wood blocks like this because when I'm decorating at home, I can just set them up. I don't need a easel or anything because I have a lot of easels and somehow they get disappeared, meaning that my kids take them. So I hope you love this. We've been working on this a really, really, really long time. I think it's super cute. We were trying to do something, you know, very spring. So I don't know. I think it's really cute. I hope you love it as much as I do. So if you have any questions, let me know. That's bloom where you're planted. And just remember the bigger piece of fabric is the one you need. So you can just look and see which one is larger on the site. And that's what's great about working with Fabric Flair is they will give us custom cuts of fabric to make it easy so that you guys don't have to buy two. Our second pattern release, it's a little bit similar. It's Spring Patchwork Seasons. Scroll down. Sorry. Sorry. So this is our second and final year of releasing Patchwork Seasons. So last year, we based our Patchwork Seasons on seasonal motifs. And then this year, what we did is we're doing the same thing, but we just added text. So our first Patchwork Seasons is spring. And this year, last year we colored everything in NPI. And we looked and we didn't really have success with the NPI. So we decided to try Aurifil in addition to DMC. Because some people, you know, always want DMC. So we do try to provide DMC thread packs anytime we can because they're affordable. It's just a matter of if we can get it. So we decided, I love Aurifil colors. So we decided to do a pack of DMC and a pack of Aura Floss. And this we also had finished by Priscilla. So thank you to Priscilla. And we list on here the SKUs that she used and the SKU of Hobby Lobby. And then this is just a generic roof rack she got at the store. And we list DMC colors, Aura Floss colors, and of course you can see what she finished it on. So I hope you love that too. We don't have a sew along plan for this, but if you want one, just comment. And if the more comments I get, the better. Because I'm more likely to read them if I have more. If I only have a few, then it's not as exciting to read. So this year we're going to release every quarter the first Monday of the month. So our next release will be June 1st, then September 1st, then December 1st, and then the previous Bloom Where You're Planted is a paper pattern, and the Patchwork Season is a low price PDF. And the sample was stitched with Aura Floss. And the fabric right here is the same fabric that we just showed you in the previous. It's the marbled white pine board 14 count Aida. So pretty. So now that we've shown you two new releases, I'm going to move on to different whips that I've been working on. So this one we talked about 2 weeks ago, and we have a pop-up of the dates that we're working on it. So we divided it up into five sections. This pattern is called QUILT-O-GRAPHY, and it's a new PDF Fat Quarter Shop exclusive pattern to celebrate World Quilting Day, which was March 19th, which was just a couple of days ago. So that is when I stitched part 1. And then I went ahead and for this week I stitched part 2. And this model was stitched on 14 count white Witchell. But I am using opalescent white 14 count Aida by Zweigart. That's what I used on Stitchography, and I'm trying to show you just gently the little iridescence. So I went ahead and did the sewing machine, and then this, when I come back next week, I'll have most of the right side done. And this one's been a lot of fun. I'm using Cosmo, and this one we're just listing Cosmo. We do have a thread pack, so that's a ton of fun. So I worked on that this week, and it didn't take me too much time. Let's see how much time it took me. I'm almost done with a full book. Okay, so it's taken me almost, 5 3/4 hours to do that. So that's not bad at all. That's why I love stitching on Ada, because I can get a lot done. Now the next thing I've worked on is going to be a pop-up. It's Fall on the Farm, and I have spent 21 hours stitching this, and so my goal on this was to stitch 2 hours a week on it, and it's called Fall on the Farm by Little House Needleworks. It's going to be 9 total sections, and that is what I have done so far, the first 9. This came in and shipped out to our club members yesterday, and with this week I'm going to start, and I'll do 2 hours. So I'll probably start at the bottom and go up. So I bet 2 hours I can get, I can probably get that much done. And then next week I'm going to go in detail on the 3 colors. If you go back to the image, I'm going to go into detail on the 3 different colors and the border layout next week, and I'll write it out so I don't make any mistakes or anything. But since this came in, I'm going to fill in part 4, which is just right there. And I'm doing 2 hours a week. It's kind of fun that all the borders are done, because now all I have to do is fill in, and filling in is the funnest part. So super excited. And on this one, just so you know, if you don't watch me weekly, yes, I did make a mistake on the borders. You can see that the border is supposed to be circles and mine are all fences, but I made that mistake and decided to just go ahead and run with it. So that is a 16 count Beautiful Beige by Witchell. So those are my whips. I'm going to move to Cheryl's whips, and we love showing Cheryl's stuff because it's so different than what I do. And the one thing that I always want to do is I always want to stay true to what I like and not just stitch because y'all want me to. I really want to do it. So this is Carriage House Samplings Halloween and Hawk Run Hollow, and we introduced this as a sew along for her at the end of 2021, and she is stitching this on the 13th and the 31st of each month. We're going to zoom in a little bit. She's stitching 20 count Vintage Country Mocha with called for DMC, and that is 1 strand of each. So let's see, can we zoom in more? So you can see like 1 stitch. So 1 strand over 1 square. And it's gonna look, I'm gonna kind of show across the detail. Her stitches are perfect. And this one she'll probably frame, but each month we're gonna be showing it as she stitches so that you can see it and see something different than what I do. So detailed. And this again is stitched on 20 count Vintage Country Mocha, called for DMC. So those are the whips for this week. I'm gonna have a lot for you next week, hopefully. Now for finishes, so everything that's finished. So on Farm Life, we had a sew along and we all agreed to it, and I somehow got mixed up and thought that Farm Life was part of March, but no, it's part of April. So I guess the good thing is I don't have to stitch this in April because I already did, but I have no idea why I got so confused because it's my stitch along. I should know what I'm doing. This one is stitched on color and cotton, and I stitched exactly what is called for here. So this is amber 16 count, and it is the same fabric that's right here. It just looks different on photos and printing paper. So I stitched this one, and on this one I did stitch 1X at a time to get the variegation. And on this one, I think I'm gonna send it to Priscilla to finish. But this one's totally out there for me, totally different, and I'm excited that it's done, but I'm also sad that I got so ahead of myself that when I got ahead, it probably put me behind on other stuff without even realizing that I was cheating. I didn't even know. So that's fun. Here's my back if y'all want to see. And then I have two other finishes. This is Calendar Crates March by Priscilla and Chelsea, Stitching with the Housewives. And this is the large. And I finished this on vacation. I finished this while my daughter messed up her knee. So yeah, now every time I see this, I'll remember that it's when she hurt herself. This one took about 13.5 hours. And then this is the small version that goes down here. And so I have March done. Now April, I'm going to stitch throughout April. May, I'm going to try to wrap up right before FQS Stitch Mania, and then I'll stitch June and June, and then the series will be done. This is the Calendar Crate series. They each have two. They're each stitched on 14 count chalkboard black. And then they have a new series coming out that's called Month to Month. And my goal is to have June finished before that starts, and then I'm going to send it all to Priscilla to finish, and then that way I can start displaying that before I move on to month, because I do like to finish the series. So everyone in that club, finish it up so that you'll be ready when the next club starts. So in addition to stitched finishes, I also have framed finishes. So speaking of Patchwork Seasons, I just showed you the new one for this year. I finished all 4 of last year's. Evergreen Patchwork Seasons is the very last one. And the 2 pieces I'm about to show you came back from our video, Visit to the Framer. And this is Evergreen Patchwork Seasons. The model was stitched on chalkboard black. I stitched this on 18 count white petty point on gray, and this is 1 strand over 1 square, 18 count, and I used NPI 992, 432, 433, 942, 945, 502, 963, and 981. And this one, we're going to zoom in slightly. I'm going to put it sideways and we're going to zoom in. If you watch the Visit to the Framer video, you're going to notice that this is not the frame we originally picked. The one that we originally picked wasn't available, so they called and they picked this one as an alternative, which I think was probably in the video just as one we didn't pick. So that's fun. And this is going to be so cute. And this is one thing I want to show you, is that anytime you see a pattern, you can make it your own any way you want. I guarantee nobody's going to come in my house, first of all, because I don't have any visitors because I'm so antisocial. But if they did, like my mother-in-law or my mom, they're probably the only people that come over. They're not going to say, oh, your Christmas tree's pink, it's not green. Nobody knows what the original is. So I encourage you to step out of the box and just stitch whatever you think is cute. And then the last finish we have for you this week is Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studio. This was also in the Visit to the Framer video. Both of these have museum glass on them, just so you know. You can't really see it because it just doesn't show on the video, but they both have glass. This is stitched by Cheryl, on 32 count Murky Lugana by Picture This Plus. She used the called for classic colorworks, and she did all the DMC, all the black DMC and 310. So that's her only color change. And now we're gonna take like just a cute like 2-minute break. Aren't they so cute? So last week we released a video since I was on vacation, and we pre-recorded it, but I couldn't like let the chance go by to talk about it more like one-on-one with you guys and answer questions. So make sure you check out last week's video on biddy baskets, and we're going to go one by one through them, and I'm going to show all of them to you individually. The pattern is completely free, and there are 12 patterns free. There's also a football that you can do and put it into a basket. We framed ours, but these are fun, and I hope you enjoy making them. They're a great way to put them by your where you stitch and then put your leftover threads in them. It's so cute and so easy, and it works great for a beginner sewer, so you don't have to be like experienced. Now we think they look best in the 10 count fabric by Lori Holt, and I'm going to show them to you individually and show you how well the free patterns look. So the very first one, we're going to go one by one, and so these are free, and you just download them as PDFs. So the first one, the pattern series is called Petite Stitches. The video is called Biddy Baskets. Now you could put these petite stitches and not turn them into a basket. You could just put them on, you know, something and frame them. We just thought it would be a cute idea to do this. So this is winter, So cute. Valentine's Day. We stitched all of these on Heritage 10 count vintage cloth by Lori Holt. Some of them we stitched on chalkboard black, but most of them are on Heritage. We list DMC colors, and we're gonna have a sew along, and we're gonna show you each month which one to stitch. So we're gonna start with this one, which is St. Patrick's Day. So we're encouraging you, I know it's a little bit past St. Patrick's Day, but we were in time for it last week. I just wasn't here. So you can stitch this one. This is my basket, and I've already stitched all these up. So just stitch along with me and celebrate your baskets with me. And I'm sure there's lots of other things you can do with this. But we have lots of the 10 count in stock and lots of different colors. So St. Patrick's Day. This one's my favorite. Easter. And I have seen several of these made up on social media, so that's exciting. And then for May, we did a quilt block. And the fabrics that we used right here, be cross stitch by Lori Holt. This is kind of how the basket looks, and the tutorial last week shows you how to do it. So easy, but I'm so excited about it because I've seen so many of you make it. And you know, when I show stuff to you guys, I don't show you to show you. I show you because I want you to make it with me. And it's so nice. It feels so like inclusive when you guys sew stuff because I'm like, oh, they actually like it. June is called Homeward. This one's is totally me. So this one I might just take and use because this one matches my house the most to put all my leftover threads in. This one's my favorite. You guys can comment and let me know which one is your favorite. The next one is Independence Day. And so we, of course, put the American flag. You could adapt it and put, just you kind of use the outline and, you know, you could put a Canadian flag or Ukrainian flag, any kind of flag you want in there. But at least it gives you a start for the outline. And then for August, we put together two. So you can pick, mix and match, I guess. So we did stuff, because, you know, we have a lot of stuff. But we thought some of you might like to do just a plain home. But what I want to show you here is all of the designs are about 30 width by 30 height. Not exact, but they're about that. So you can see that you can put them on any kind of fabric you want. You can use any type of cross stitch fabric, the 10 count, but also the fabric at the top. You can do different colors. You don't have to do it just like we showed you. But we thought this was kind of fun, just something if you're wanting something a little bit simple. And then this one is going to be great for Sunflower September. So this is really cute. And we do have something else planned for Sunflower September also, but this is going to be awesome for that. And you can see what we did is, oh sorry, Sunflower is the name of it, is in here you can see that we put little different floss peeking out, which kind of gives it a little accent. For October, we gave you Boo. Well, it's called Halloween. But the purple, that is so awesome how the purples kind of match. That looks so cute. And if you're more of an orange person, just use orange. Or you could do, you can even stitch this, you could stitch orange here and put purple here. You could mix and match anything. Just kind of think about that. Let's see. And then for November, we did Thanksgiving, which is a cute little pumpkin. I mean, these are like so cute, and these would be great housewarming gifts. Like if you have to go to someone's house or like a dinner party, you could just bring it. It'd be so cute. And the last one is Christmas. And this one's really cute. Now this one also, you could do a pink tree and put red up here. You can do that. So that is our Petite Stitches free pattern series, along with the free video talking about bitty baskets and how to make them. So lots of free things that we bring to you because we appreciate you as customers, and we always want to be able to bring you something. I do see a question in the chat. I'm going to answer all the questions, but one of the questions is asking what pattern this is. And this is from the club we had last year called Snapshots. And the designer is Pine Mountain Designs. We might have some kits left over online if you just type March Snapshots. And then I'm going to show you our Stronger Together auction. So we are raising money for UNCF. Currently, we have raised over $17,000, which is so exciting because one of the things that if I didn't do this for a living, the thing I think I would miss the most would be stitching and quilting. But of course, it would also be raising money and making a difference. And I do think that I try to teach my kids this, but you have to make a difference somehow, some way. And so because I have wonderful customers like all of you guys, we're able to raise money with the help of you guys. So we donated $7,000. And right now through Sunday, we're auctioning off the quilt, but we're also auctioning off my quilt, but we're also auctioning off my cross stitch. And this is the one where I was talking about 18 count. Can I see my 18 count Christmas tree? So this, I'm going to show you. We got to find it. We have so much stuff in this room, we can't even find it. It's the framed one. Oh, sorry. I want to show you something because now that it's finished, you can see the difference. So somehow when I was stitching this, I somehow forgot that I'm supposed to stitch 1 over 1 on 18 count. So the corners are stitched with 2 over 2. And I actually think it makes it look nice. But I just want to show you like how the different, this is both the same fabric. Now both of these were done with NPI. I like the NPI on 18 count. It just looks really nice, and I love their colors. I love working with silk. I just couldn't do it on everything because it's too expensive, but we're auctioning this off. So I would love for you to go and bid if you're interested in it, and I did sign the back. So if you want my signature. And then now I'm going to show you all the what's new stuff, and I will answer any questions. So if you have a question, pop it in now, because I'm going to do all the questions at the end. And kind of the way I end the show is when I'm out of questions, we're out of time. So we have 2 new Priscilla and Chelsea Stitching with the Housewives PDFs. Welcome Spring released this morning, and Snowed in Spring released last Friday. And if you want this fabric, the closest we have is Smoky Dyed Effect by Fabric Flare, because we did see that in the questions before we got all before it timed out on us. So I did see that question. Nutcracker Village came in, and next week I will be showing you my progress on this. And if you're in our club, Pattern Club, that has shipped. Now, the next 2 things are totally awesome. So we have been working with a company called Cottage Garden Threads. They're from Australia, And several of the floss tubers asked us to carry their threads, so we did. But then we also got requests to carry their oval and round hoops, and we picked the smaller ones. And they're for decoration, so we're hoping that we can finish something in this. Let me see one of the baskets. So if you wanted to do the basket in 10 count, sorry, I'm going to take the thing off. But like if you didn't want to do the basket, put it in 10 count and frame it. I mean, not frame it, but like put it in this. It'd be so cute. So there's lots of options. Just always kind of think about what your options are. But this I'm very excited about. This is called Pressing Cloth, and it's by Cottage Garden Designs. And what you do is you put your piece, like I can put my Farm Life. On here, and then press, and you press on the cloth, and it is really nice and thick. I don't know what it's made out of, but it's nice, and I'm gonna get a couple of these, and then that's what we're gonna start pressing all my stuff on here and at home, because I just think that's gonna be really nice. I'm very excited about this. We waited a long time for it to come in. And then stickers, there were a lot of stickers that came in after Needlework Festival Market. So these are Bent Creeks. There's a pack and a sheet. They're both separate. And then from Heart in Hand, they have a pack and a sheet. And this one I think has 2. So new stickers. And of course, if you want to see what we purchased at Needlework Market, just check back 2 weeks ago and you will see every pattern we bought. The Prairie Schooler, they have all of their old patterns are distributed through Hoffman, and they kind of release some over time and then they discontinue them and then they bring them back. So the Prairie Schooler, this is number 48, so it's one of their originals, and it has 7 pillows in it, and it is a black and white pattern. Let me kind of show you how it is. It's kind of a black and white pattern. And I can't show you the back because the back is also a pattern. So these are cute ornaments. So if you're looking for something that was kind of an older Prairie Schooler, there's that. And this year, Pine Needles is doing a monthly series, and this is her April, and they're all kind of like this oval. They're really cute. So April has come out, and we always offer the PDF and the paper. The paper usually comes out first, and just so you know, she started with February. So far we have February, March, and April. Pine Mountain Designs. And then when we got back from market, we noticed that Noelle noticed that we didn't have a lot of these in stock, and they're the little bird in hands. So we ordered the ones we were missing so that we would be able to, so these are all the older ones we didn't have. So just wanted to show those to you. I love this one. I'm gonna have to stitch that and be mine next year. I love it. So that's what I have, guys. So now I'm going to answer any questions you guys have. And so Teresa asked, did I stitch Stitchville? I'm cussing these stitches on the roof and bobbins, wondering how to make these stitches look decent. Okay, I did not stitch Stitchville, but Cody did. And I don't remember what she did to make it work, but there's a lot of half stitches, so I haven't. Sorry. I don't. For advice, I would say I don't really know. You might have to stitch on a linen or a over 2 to make it look better. Is there going to be a quilt kit with Priscilla and Chelsea's new fabric? I don't have one planned right now, but that doesn't mean there won't be one. Oh, and Lori said hi. Lori from Pansy Quilts and Stitchery. Thank you. Oh, awesome. I'm glad she watched. Taryn says, it would be so fun to stitch with y'all. I like a more vibrant option, Kimberly, but can't figure out floss swapping by myself. Yes, you know, floss swapping is really hard and you have to be like in the zone. And what makes it, to be honest, why we're able to do it easily is we have 2 thread cabinets that we've shown in our floss organization, and we have every color up here. So we have to just figure out, okay, what manufacturer is shipping on time and has availability, you know, what manufacturer do we think would look good. It takes several hours. And it takes a lot of people. It's not just me doing it. Most of the time, it's not even me. It's like Cheryl, Denise, other people kind of, and then we kind of fine tune it. Is there any option to change that boot to a cowboy boot? No, we only have, I mean, you could change it to brown thread, but we don't have another design. The design we have is as it is. Am I going to have a finishing frame for sale with month to month? So if you watch Priscilla and Chelsea's video, they talked about it. They have not even stitched the first part of month to month. They're trying to wrap up the end of the previous series. So once Priscilla starts stitching it, they will have an option that will be available, probably Hobby Lobby or Walmart or whatever she finds. So she hasn't picked it yet, but whatever she picks, we will make sure, she will make sure is on the pattern, because she always does. But I will tell you, I'll read from the pattern and tell you what it is. I totally miss when the stitch along for a bloom where your planet starts. So we can pop that up, but that is actually starting in like 2 weeks. So April 6th is about 2 weeks from now. So there's your dates. Glenna asks, for making pillows, how much cloth around the stitching should you leave? I would leave 2 inches on all sides. Dina asks, quick question. I see you don't have any Lori Holt's vintage cloth 10 count daisy. Will it come back or be gone forever? I'm sure it will come back. I will follow up after this live stream, but I'm sure it's already on order and coming back. And we'll also check inventory to see if we have some on the shelf. Donna asks, if you did a smaller count on Hawk's Run, what is the smallest Aida you can use with 1 strand? 20 count, which is what Cheryl did. What am I stitching all in the farm on? Fall on the farm? Let me look in my book. 16 count beautiful beige. Yay, I remembered. I'm trying to think. Ginger Lawson. Okay, I see you in here sometimes, and I don't know if you know, but that's my maiden name is Lawson. Have you said how your backs are so neat? Mine do not come close to it. So I would watch our Cross Stitch University, and when I show you how I finish off, and I can actually show you up close in farm life, kind of what I do and kind of talk through it. But this one is a little bit different. I'm going to actually show bloom also, and we'll show the difference. So this one is one where I stitch with fancy floss, and I used 2 strands together and did not do the loop method. So it's more, can we zoom in? It's messier because you see a lot of start and stops, but I try to pull it under. But when you look at this one, which is a Priscilla and Chelsea, it's much neater. The reason why is I used just to show the variegation here, but I don't usually care about the variegation. In fact, I don't care about it at all. So to me, I always start with the loop method, and then I just tie in under about 3 stitches. So I think the key is starting with the loop method, but also when you're done, see how I pulled that under? I just pull it in, I make sure it's tight, and I clip. I use very sharp scissors. I use the Omni Grid, and I also use the Sweet Snips. And these are really sharp. So when I clip both of these, I clip like right to it. I don't let anything hang out. If you are in calendar crates, does it automatically switch you to the new club? No, they're totally separate. So if you want to, then go ahead and sign up. And we are doing the month to month. We talked about it 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, but that one we are going to do without fabric so that you have a choice in your fabric. I'm going to be using the gray gingham, pale gray gingham fabric flare. CHERYL asks, in the month to month with Priscilla, like a block of the month, you get a portion of the pattern each month, and at the end of the program you have the finished large piece or just the name of the pattern. So if you read the description on our site, the way we're selling it, because every store is a little bit different and we try to be very descriptive in our descriptions, the month to month comes with the pattern, and it's actually going to be a big pattern and a small pattern for that month, and the floss you need, and then you order the fabric separately. And we'll have more information, like more pictures, more. We can ask her, we can actually text her and ask her if she can give us a sneak peek we can show to see if she stitched anymore. Georgie said she uses size 26 needles, and do they come with a bigger eye? I'm working with sulky and sometimes it's hard to thread the normal needle. Isn't there a brand that's thicker? The Pat Carson needles were a bigger eye, but those are now out of print. Bowen definitely wouldn't work. We are trying a new brand, so out the top of my head right now I don't know of one. We'll have to ask Cheryl for a recommendation. Crystal said, if you put fusible interfacing on the fabric, would it make the basket a little more stiff? Yes, but I think that it, can I see one? I don't think it would look good, because what I think it would do, I'm going to show you. I think that you would see it through there. I feel like unless you could find a tan interfacing, I feel like the white would be really bright. And also with this, I mean, you could just put something in it to kind of make it, you could kind of spray it with starch after, I guess, would be an idea. But I feel like they are actually pretty stiff. Taryn asks, will I please give an update for when the patterns from Nashville will be released? I'm so excited to stitch. This is the day. It's out and online. Every pattern we have should be online if the manufacturer is shipping it, and I'm not going to do a thread pack for that one. Will there be more Petite Stitches patterns coming out? That all will depend on how popular it is. If a lot of people stitch it and a lot of people use it and we feel like the free pattern was useful to you guys, then yes. But it would probably be in a year, because we gave you a full year's worth all at once. But it kind of, everything kind of all depends on if people find it useful or not. How many packages of 10 count would you need to do all 12? 6, because you can make 2 baskets out of 1 pack. Is there a 28 count Lugana that would work for fall on the farm? 28 count. I would use oatmeal. So we can show you oatmeal. And, I think oatmeal would work. What else would you think? 28 count. There's probably 28 count beautiful beige, but it's in linen. For Lugana, email Cheryl, CHERYL @FatQuarterShop.com, and she's the one that's the expert and she can answer. Jacqueline says, FQS generosity is unmatched and a big reason why I'm a loyal follower, because they give back, I'm able to give back too. Well, thank you. Have I started planning for FQS Stitch Mania? Yes. And we have a lot of stuff planned, and this time what we're going to do is we're going to do a get ready with me video where I show planning the whole thing, so that like in 2 years, if somebody wants to remember what I did in Mania, there's a video to reference back to, just so that we always have that, and it's not like within a live stream. It's kind of its own standalone thing, because we found that sometimes people get lost because I do so many things. But yeah, I've picked everything. I will be showing it in April, but we're going to be videoing that soon. It's not going to release soon, but we're going to kind of video it because I do stitch ahead a couple of days so that I have a little bit of time to do that. I didn't use the loop method for Farm Life because I kept 2 strands of hand-dyed floss together because I wanted to see the variegation. If you do the loop method using hand-dyed floss, you don't see the variegation. Regarding the pressing cloth, do I always press your completed projects? Yes. And FQS Stitch Mania is, Mania was started years and years ago by a Facebook group. They've now closed. So we had started it way back then with them, but now that it's closed, we just call it FQS Stitch Mania. And what I do is I stitch a little bit of different projects every day in May. And what it was meant to do and encouraged to do is just to keep you stitching and keep you motivated. I seem to have trouble when I try to end and pull my thread underneath. You would need a smaller needle then, maybe a sharper needle, maybe something that can get under those stitches. And I want to say thank you to my super chats. We've got Valeria Bauer for last week because I wasn't here, so thank you for being here. Paula Shattuck and Rita Van Berg. Oh, and then Valeria Bauer is back again. So thank you so much for all your super chats. Thank you for watching, and I would love for you to comment on this video and tell me, what are you looking for that we're not providing to you so that we can do that, because we're providing a ton of stuff to you, but also my main thing is, what are you going to be stitching along with us, because we just showed you a lot of stitch alongs, and you know, what are you looking forward to so that I kind of know what you guys are always looking for. Thank you so much for joining me, and I do want to know if you want me to do a sew along with the houses on Peppermint Lane. So that's the main thing I want to hear from you on. So I look forward to seeing your comments.